What's going on? F.O.G Boxing Talk Plus. We back. This your brother Born. Man, I ain't been around in a while, but we back to give you this Boxing Talk Plus a little bit more. And right now, we giving you a little bit more. We got the NBA standings right now through March 14th. I know it's a couple of days later, but listen, man, this the basic standings of what's going on is to play all who will be in the playoffs and who will be in the play-in tournament. So we gonna go through the Eastern Conference and see, and I'm gonna give you my picks and see who the upcomers, because this is more than halfway through the season, so we really see who shook it up and shaped up out here. So in the Eastern Conference, really it's a tight race. There's a tight race at the top four in the Eastern Conference. You know what I mean? Even though you see Boston pulling up in number 5, real tough. They really just been making a push since after the All-Star break. They've been making a push. But Miami, the Bucks, the Bulls, and 76ers, they basically been on top of the Eastern Conference for the whole season. The Nets was in contention. You know, they got the Kyrie, Kevin Durant situation. Kevin Durant went out. They lost like 11, 12 in a row, something like that. Just a crazy losing streak. And that really pushed them down. So now they sit down in the bottom in 8th place. They are the best 8th place team out there right now, though. Because when you got Kyrie, KD, and maybe Ben Simmons on the team, with Kyrie and KD on the team alone, that's enough firepower to really push another team hard, especially with a lot of the complementary pieces they got around them. But I'm saying like this, though. This is what we're looking at. I really think, though, that I'm looking for the Milwaukee Bucks to come out of the Eastern Conference. You know, I think that the experience that they have with the complementary players that they have around Giannis, I think they got a real good team. I really don't think the 76ers are going to be able to click in the playoffs the way that they want to. James Harden and Joel Embiid, two offensive powerhouses, but I don't trust James Harden in the playoffs. Miami Heat, I think that they're going to be a tough out for anybody, and they really might be there at the end because they play like consistent ball. Their ball game is consistent. The Miami Heat, everybody that they put in, everybody that they play, they basically every person that the Miami Heat play know how to play in their position. So they just a plug and play type team because they have a scheme and a system that's plug and play. As long as you're an athletic person, you come in and you play hard, you're going to be able to do some things in Miami. Chicago Bulls, they've been on the downslide because of the lack of Lonzo Ball and Caruso. Caruso just came back, but Lonzo Ball was like he was really their like catalyst to their offense and defense. He's so solid, you know what I mean? Something that you would never thought people would have said about Lonzo Ball, but solid on defense and knockdown three-point shooter. Cleveland Cavaliers, I think they still new. They still pushing their way. I don't think the Raptors have enough. Atlanta or Charlotte, I don't think they really any of those teams really have enough to push far in the playoffs. The one thing that I say though about the play-in tournament in the Eastern Conference is the only conference that I see a reason for the play-in tournament, because you got 7, 8, 9, 10 so close. 8, 9, 10 right on top of each other. You understand? And you have them so close that it might be a reason for a player because you really don't know who's the best. But when we go to the Western Conference, here we go. We at the Western Conference. When we look in the Western Conference, man, listen, the Western Conference is different than what we thought it was going to be. It's pretty much you get some of the things that you thought you was going to get, but one thing you did not think you was going to see was the Lakers floating at the bottom in the playoff, but floating at the bottom of the play-in tournament bracket. You understand? You got Phoenix, Memphis, Golden State, Utah Jazz, Dallas Mavericks. I'll say this. With the Dallas Mavericks getting rid of Porzingis, bringing in Spencer Dinwiddie, that was a beautiful move because Spencer Dinwiddie is not somebody who demand the ball. See, he when he get the ball, he's going to put in work. But he's not going to be somebody who, you know, he's not going to feel privileged, you know what I mean? Like Porzingis, I got this contract, so y'all got to give me some shots. Dinwiddie going to understand that his shots going to come within the game. And so that's going to really help him and Luka out. That's going to help Luka out. You know what I mean? Just like totally. Because he's not going to be forced to give it up at certain times. They're going to be able to just run fluidly. And you've seen that since the All-Star break. Since they gave up Porzingis, you go look at their team. Their team really is pressing real hard. I'm telling you, the Dallas Mavericks is not a team that anybody want to see because Luka Doncic with his offensive package is almost unstoppable in the NBA because you can't play a center just to sit in the lane. You know what I mean? And so with that, and that defensive 3 seconds, that really give him free range. You know what I mean? To really eat your team up, man. So Luka Doncic is somebody, listen, trust me, Jason Kidd got that team ready for something right now. He got that team ready, and they really pushing real hard. Let's look at the top. You got Phoenix Suns. You got Phoenix Suns at the top. Phoenix Suns definitely look like somebody who ready to go get the chip. They seemed like last year they enjoyed what was going on. They really enjoyed the process. And this year that they focused and they really, they focused. They mentally tough, the whole team. They pretty much got the same team from last year. They just added a couple complementary pieces that's really helped them out. But the basic team is really doing what it has to do, even without the leadership of Chris Paul. But Chris Paul on the sideline is still a leader because the one thing about Chris Paul is his mental leadership right now with that team because they have players who can play the role of what Chris Paul did on the court. So the focus that Chris Paul gave them as a team from last year really got them going and motivated. So, yeah, Chris Paul is a dynamic, player. It's very smart. You can't, you can't just like, no, it's not like, they put in somebody better. But what I'm saying is that they still consistently play at that Chris Paul level of play, even though you don't have him in there with his IQ. But then the team has taken on his, his persona. So I think they're going to go far. Golden State, we just seen Steph Curry get hurt, so we don't know how far they're going to go. Steph Curry out. And plus, Draymond just got back from a back and injury and calf strain, and we're gonna see what that look like we're gonna see what that really look like for them. I want to see the next 5 games for them to really see what goes on. Utah Jazz is gonna be Utah Jazz. They're gonna push to the second round, but I don't see them coming out of the Western Conference. I don't see them coming out of the Western Conference because they don't work well together. Their team does not work. It don't work well together. They win games, but I'm telling you, if you look at the team, I don't think the team like playing with each other. You know what I mean? I think that they work, but I don't think they like playing with each other. You know what I'm saying? Overall, I think there's some things going on over there on the Utah Jazz that's going to keep them from going forward. Donovan Mitchell or Rudy Gobert has to go. And this is the bad part about that is that either one of them go, they're going to be a lesser team. But no matter what, there'll never be a greater team with both of them on the team. They will help another team. Either one of them players can help. Like Donovan Mitchell probably could go to the San Antonio Spurs or something, or maybe the Sacramento Kings. He could go to the Kings and help the Kings. They could trade. They could give Fox for Donovan Mitchell, right? And the Kings would play a whole lot better. You know what I mean? With Donovan Mitchell over there. They'll play better because it's just something funny about how that duo right there don't work well together. Nikola Jokic, the Denver Nuggets problem is that they don't have Jamal Murray or Michael Porter Jr. That's their problem. Boogie added on has been a perfect substitute for Jokic because Boogie Cousins is like Nikola Jokic. They like, you know what I mean? It's really like the same player. You know what I mean? I think Jokic a little bit. Jokic got more of his stuff together right now because Boogie done been hurt. But they basically say they bodies, they not, they not all muscular. They got their big body. They can get to the hole. They got good footwork. Good ball handle. They can hit the three. They got a mid-range. They got a good passing IQ and all that. So Denver Nuggets did upgrade and make sure that when Jokic is off the court, they don't play, they can still play the same type of ball because Boogie does help them sustain that. You know what I mean? So I think that when they get Murray back and Michael Porter Jr. good, and next year, I think they're going to really be trouble. Minnesota is going to be trouble for the fact that Minnesota going to be trouble because they done took on Pat Beverly type of mind state, and that Pat Bev scrappy fight mind state going to help them out. I'm glad to see them in the playoffs. They are a team that I'm telling you, if they get hot, they can beat any team. I don't know if they can beat any of these teams 4 times in a 7-game series, but I'm telling you, they can push in 7 games with any team. I think that they can push 7 games with any team in Minnesota. And that's the same thing with the Memphis Grizzlies. I didn't speak about them. Ja Morant is like he's like the cat that you want to see. You just want to see the highlights and see what he did. Memphis Grizzlies, wild card. I think Memphis Grizzlies can make it all the way to the finals. I say this because, listen, look, Memphis Grizzlies have Ja Morant, right? Ja Morant was playing. The Memphis Grizzlies were all right. Ja Morant got hurt, and it seemed as though the Memphis Grizzlies were playing better with Ja Morant hurt. When Ja came back, right? It was like they exploded. And what it seemed to me is Ja was able to see what type of game they needed to play in order to win. He wanted them to win, and he was willing to sacrifice the parts of his game that he was using when he was there to make sure there was a more complimentary game for the team. And man, they off. Yo, listen. Nobody wants to see the Memphis Grizzlies at any time because they're young and they have no respect. That's it. Like the Memphis Grizzlies and the Minnesota Timberwolves remind me of each other. They 2 teams that have no respect for whoever's out there. They have no respect for their elders. They don't respect their elders. They only respect the fight. So with that being said, y'all look, I think the Suns or the Memphis Grizzlies got the greatest chance of coming out of there because I think the Memphis Grizzlies got just like an X factor to them. But hey, the Lakers, they doing nothing. You know what I mean? The Pelicans, they doing nothing. The Clippers, the injury bug got them. They a great team. They just need their stars back, and they're gonna do well. But with that being said, man, like, hate, comment, subscribe. F.O.G. Boxing Talk Plus. It's always Ldbc. You know what we do. We out.